Good evening, happy Monday, and welcome back to the number one Group of Five college football show in the history of the world. This is the Group of Five guys, presented by FanDuel. Our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. Hit the follow button on all the social platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most importantly, tell your family and friends all about us. This is a Group of Five show, but on tonight's episode, we will discuss the Final Four of the CFP and the National Championship game and how it relates to the Group of Five. We're also going to talk about the ongoing social media battle between legacy sports media, new media, and Lynn Jones down in Jacksonville. Plenty more. Hope you enjoy the show. This is the Group of Five guys, and we are coming to you live.
They got Old Dominion week 3, and ODU is by no means a layup. Group of Five guys told me that, so that has to be true.
We looked at each other, we was like, Mike, the best place to be is a Group of Five. So I'm sitting here with the Group of Five guys, right?
Troy has won, it's been a winner, and it's a special place, so it's why you want the job.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
It was across there. You want to have this thing packed out, have the student section packed out, giving those guys hell on the sideline. I mean, that's part of it. I mean,
win or lose, like we're winning the tailgate.
There's no better place to be developed in this country than Boise State.
Well, let's get the show started, Jeff. I feel like it's been a long time. It's been a week. When you go 3 days a week for 4 months, and we take, 6 days off, it feels like it's been a long time, Jeff. Lots happened. What's going on? What's going on in the Murphy household?
Man, basketball's in full swing for the two older boys, and baseball practice has started. Deli number 2 is rocking and rolling here in Murfreesboro. We got one more official college football game of the year. NBA's in full swing, and Sprouse, we got a new partner.
We got a new partner. I'm excited, super excited about this one. This is one that we talked about when we first started doing the podcast. FanDuel. So the show from here on out will be presented by FanDuel. Look, everybody knows FanDuel. I mean, they're all over the place. But excited to have them on board, excited to be on board with them, hoping that will bring more eyes to the Group of Five fight and the Group of Five guys mission. And it'll help us a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nobody's quitting their jobs anytime soon, but help us a little bit. Towards the end of the year, especially when we've been to a couple of games out of our pocket and we get to that championship weekend or playoff time or bowl game time or senior bowl time, and we're like, we've been spending so much money. It'll be nice to have a few bucks in the pocket that we can use towards it. So excited to have FanDuel on board, and can't wait to see what else comes in the year of our Lord 2026, Jeff.
Yeah, it's going to be a big year, I think, for not only the Group of Five guys, but for the Murphys, for the Sprouses, and for the entire Group of Five. I'm telling you, we are just destroying narratives all across the board. Cannot be hidden anymore when one of the top teams in the country and the Oregon Ducks get absolutely obliterated and blown out,
dude,
by the Indiana Hoosiers circumvent James Madison 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was interesting because I tweeted about that, and it was 35-7 going into the half. And I even tweeted and put, we're not doubting, like, Oregon's really freaking good. Nobody should doubt Oregon, but they still got blown out. And then people came back with, well, yeah, but they won 2 games already. It's like, that's the premise of the anti-G5 argument has been, we don't want blowouts. And our argument has always been there's always blowouts. There's always been blowouts. There's always going to be blowouts no matter who you put in. And here we have a team who nobody doubts is one of the top 6, 7. There's damn it, Jeff. 6, 7. One of the top 12, if nothing else, top 12 teams, right, in the country. Nobody doubts that. You shouldn't doubt that they are. And yet, 2 years in a row, their season ends with a blowout. And so, to a conference mate, by the way, last year to a team that they beat in the regular season, and this year to a team that came down to the wire with in the regular season. So the point is always, and they'll be in again next year, no doubt. And they should be in again next year. But the narrative of we got to keep these G5 teams out of there because these games are not good. I mean, really? Is that the games that aren't good? Because for what it's worth, and I am not here saying, well, JMU got blown out less than. No, they got beat, dude. James Madison got beat. Tulane got beat bad. Embarrassing loss. But it was so did Oregon. So did Alabama. So did all the ones we talked about last year. And so you talk about unwatchable, but it's funny the ratings were still good for those. So I wonder if these teams, these people don't want to watch blowouts or they don't want to watch brands that they don't know about. And that's where the real ratings issue comes into play.
Yeah. And from the very first opening play, Sprouse, D'Angelo Pons, JMU Duke, Elijah Surratt, JMU Duke, Kalen Black, JMU Duke. I mean, I just had so much joy watching those guys go and ball on the biggest stage and take down the Ducks, who took a beating to the Dukes. Mm-hmm. And it's just, if you can play football, if you're a baller, you can ball. It doesn't matter about the patch. Doesn't matter about the conference. Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of different offensive line for Indiana, different quarterback. Like you can bring all these other anecdotes in, but the bottom line is, and it's always been true, if you can play at a high level, doesn't matter where you play. So just excited, man. Just fired up.
And you mentioned, they got different guys, but last year their quarterback was another Group of 5 guy, an Ohio kid in Rourke, and then Mendoza is a severely under-recruited guy too. It's not like this was some pride, and he comes in and wins the Heisman. And it's interesting, Jeff, and I know you want to talk about this, so I'll get it started. But now, and I said this last year, when the talking heads and the conference commissioners talk about we need more teams from the Big Ten in, or we need more teams from the SEC. And I said this last year, they don't want more Big Ten teams because last year they didn't want. Indiana was one they didn't want in. They want Michigan. They want Ohio State. They want Penn State. They want Oregon. They want USC. They don't want Indiana. And now, since Indiana is running through everybody, last year they called them a fraud. Last year they said they didn't play anybody they didn't deserve to be in. They didn't play anybody on their schedule. This year they wanted to say that, but then they're beating the hell out of everybody that lines up across from them. So now the narrative is, well, this is just not fair. They have 24-year-olds and 23-year-olds on their team, and this is just, they have grown men, and poor little old Alabama, we have children playing. Jeff, this might be a safety issue. So now that's the narrative, and it's not because of anything other than the fact that it's Indiana with a bunch of non-5-star recruits.
That's exactly it.
And they're beating the crap out of everybody that they play, and they don't like it.
And here's the other deal. Yeah, the average age of the Hoosiers is 22 and a half to 23 years old. But that is a decision by Coach Cignetti, and he said it himself. He's production over potential. He'd rather take a guy who's proven film, you could see it, recruit from the G5 or from a lower tier P4 or whatever, honestly, from wherever. As long as he's got tape to evaluate, he would rather trust his own eyes and his own evaluation rather than some guy in a room that's rating kids that has no idea what he's looking at. But since Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee and Ohio State sent him an offer, oh, he's an automatic 4-star, 5-star kid. So kudos to Cignetti for understanding the system, number one, and number two, sticking to his guns, being like this, because he's like, this is how I've always been. I've always been this way. But of course, a 22 and 23-year-old is going to be more mentally mature, more physically developed than an 18, 19-year-old kid. It's just biology. It just is what it is. So, and you guys created this system. So now, again, you can't come up with another excuse to, oh, well, this isn't fair. No, you're upset because the brands aren't in. And the SEC, the mighty SEC, had I think it's like 41 or 42% of the field in this year's playoffs. I mean,
5 out of 12, Jeff.
In the last 3 years, they haven't even made the championship game. So I think it's a question of why are we still pushing the narrative? And I think it's calmed down to some over the last couple of weeks, but you're still seeing it, that the SEC deserves more teams in the playoff. No, they don't. They do not. Honestly, in my opinion, there shouldn't be more. 3 should be the max from one conference.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I can't tell you how many people when Alabama was getting ready to play Indiana, not even because it was Alabama, it was about, well, I mean, Indiana, I just don't trust them yet. They're not an SEC team. They haven't been. I don't trust them. And then when they dominate, now it becomes, well, of course they're dominating. I mean, it's a bunch of grown men. If that was the case, so sure, that plays a part. But you also have fantastic coaching. You have great development. I can't help but to think, Jeff, what if Signetti and all those guys hung around James Madison for another couple of years? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know, you can't do anything about it. But because if it was just about the age, well, then BYU would be running wild over college football. I mean, they got 28-year-olds running around on the team. You know what I mean? Nobody said anything when Chris Winkie won the Heisman at 28 years old or whatever he was, you know? So it is interesting. I'll tell you what, man, they're good, dude.
They're really good. And all 3 phases of the game, too.
They are, man. And, you know, it's funny, man, that age thing. You know, I've been telling you for a couple of years now that a team's going to make a run that has a group of seniors that sticks together. Now, I didn't necessarily think it would be in this manner. I thought, you know, less transfers, just guys that stick together, continuity. This is a lot of transfers, but they are veterans. You know, Miami's interesting too, man, because they've not blown anybody out really, but they have physically whipped everybody they've played. And so that's going to be the matchup. Indiana and Miami, they're like, it's like the antithesis. Is that the right word there?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't go to journalism school, so everybody don't get upset. But, you know, Miami is a little bit old school, man. They're very athletic, but they are as physical and as big as really anybody. And they're, you know, they got that freshman kid, Tony, is
he's a stud,
freak athlete. But then Indiana, you know what, man? They just do everything solid. Everything. I mean, they don't make mistakes. They don't miss tackles. They don't have Miami, you saw it a little bit the other night. Started getting stupid penalties late in the game. And that kind of thing going to get you beat 35-7 by Indiana.
Yeah, and they should have put that game away. That Miami should have won by 2 or 3 touchdowns, if you want to be honest. But their offense worries me at times. Like, yeah, you got Malachi Tony, he makes big plays, but I don't think they're gonna, like, if Indiana's offense can roll, they're not gonna outscore Indiana's offense. They're just not. I don't think they have. I mean, Beck is good, but he disappears at moments.
He's good when he's on,
Mendoza does
man.
not. Mendoza is rock solid, and I couldn't be more excited with the first pick in the draft right here, my Las Vegas Raiders. I hope we take him. Cal product.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because you're right. But that's been Miami. Like, that was the whole argument, right? Everybody said, well, they had to they took a walk-off field goal to beat Notre Dame. But then, you know, when they started replaying, that's why they started replaying that game every night. Remember we were at the casino? It's 3 a.m. and they got Miami Notre Dame on 10 weeks after the fact. And you watch it and you're like, oh, yeah, they won by 3, but I mean, they whipped them. They physically whipped them. Same with the Ohio State game. Like, they dominated. Ole Miss. It's like, how is Ole Miss even in this thing? And it took good Carson Beck to come back and get the game-winning drive, and then they almost gave it up again. But they have multiple 15-play, 7-minute drives, it seems like, in every playoff game so far. And that's going to be, to me, it was what we said about how's James Madison going to stay in it with Oregon, or how's Tulane going to stay in it with Ole Miss. So how's Miami going to stay in it is, dude, they have not been stopped running the ball.
No.
And you watch that offensive line, especially that right side. They got that Samoan kid, Mauiaga or whatever, the right tackle. They are, it is old school, dude. Back in the day, they used to do a drill in the offensive line, Jeff. They used to go to these camps, and they'd stick a cone between two offensive linemen's hips, and you had to drive the sled and not let that damn cone come out of your hips. You had to stay that tight together. Dude, that's what they look like.
Yeah.
I mean, their whole fight, and they are just moving. It's just a steady, push off the ball. But then, Jeff, problem I have is then their jackass offensive coordinator wants to run a trick play when you're getting 5-6 yards every carry. You want to run a flea flicker, and then you get behind the chains. And you talk about this all the time, what Buster Faulkner used to say to you guys in the quarterback room. You have to be comfortable getting bored. And what I think has happened at times, in these playoff games when I'm watching Miami is you're running the ball, you're running the ball, you're running the ball. Let's get cute. Now it's 2nd and 12. And now you got to throw it. And now you're putting your QBs in a bad spot. You're putting your offensive line in a bad spot. And so you've got to be comfortable being bored. And, dude, if you get down 7-0, if you get down 14-0, just keep running it, man. Keep Mendoza off the field.
100%. 2 time and possession up. I mean, that's what, you have to do is lean on your run game. Like you said, nobody has stopped it all year. And I can't understand it because we saw it all across college football this year. Just offenses will be rolling, and then they try and do a trick play, or they try and do something that's unorthodox. And then now you get behind the chains, and then you can't convert, and then you have to punt, or you kick a long field goal, and then you miss, or it gets blocked. Like, it just changes the momentum of the game. And I can't understand why. It's like offensive coordinators, for some reason, can't get out of their own way, and they all want to be known for something.
That's it. Yeah.
It's like, I got to put my stamp on this thing. How about just being a really good play caller? Like, be a really good play caller, and the rest will take care of itself. It's just like a player. Control what you can control. Like, do what you do really, really well, and the rest is going to take care of itself. But we've seen it over and over and over again, but we'll see what happens in this championship game. It's on, is it on this coming Monday? Is that correct?
Yeah, a week from right now.
The schedule's been so weird, and I know we've talked about it ad nauseum, but we got to get this calendar fixed. There's no reason we're mid-January should be playing the freaking national championship game. But FanDuel's got the line. Indiana's favored by 8.5.
8.5.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Indiana can run away with it.
Yeah, they can. I mean, I'm biased, so I think Miami's been dogs every game so far.
Yeah.
Along the way.
A lot of juice there, plus 280 on Miami if you think they're going to win.
It's a home game.
Now,
interesting. Indiana travels, but
is Miami going to show up? That's my question. Like
their fans?
The fans.
Oh, come on. Dude, listen. I'm going to tell you something about South Florida in general, Jeff. Let me give you a little history lesson. In my lifetime, the Heat have been good. The Marlins have won a couple World Series. The Dolphins have been god-awful. South Florida is a football town, but it's also more than that. It's an event town.
Yeah.
And so when the Heat are rolling, that place is rocking. When LeBron's there, everybody's there. All the celebs are there. The football is a little different there. Like, it's not this big celebrity thing. What's going on. I know tickets are outrageous, so you're going to get some of that, but it's a small private school. So the city, it's like opposites. Like, the fans are not alumni and students. It's this weird dynamic. But when football's good down there, it's a little different. And I think they're going to show up. I mean, my socials, my algorithms of all my, I mean, I think it's going to be electric. Now, I do think what I'm a little concerned about is Indiana season ticket holders realizing they can get a couple racks to sell.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, man. Indiana, it looked like a home game for Indiana. Not even a 60-40. It was like a
I was
90-10, dude.
exactly. I saw somebody that was there is like, I don't know what they're saying on TV, but this is 95-5
Yeah.
Indiana.
And
I mean,
and and when we were down at the Fiesta Bowl last year, I mean, it was probably 70-30 Boise.
yeah,
And it made a difference.
it does.
So I'm very interested to see what that crowd looks like. I mean, you got people that have been saying the U is back since 2004. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they finally are. So it'll be a good game. I hate that it's on a Monday night. I hate
So
that
stupid.
they played on Thursday and Friday, and then we had wild card round of the NFL, and then we'll have second round of the NFL, and then we'll put a national championship in it. I think a lot of people get disengaged between the semifinals and the final because now you're down to two teams, and now you're down to, Miami's a big brand, but it's not Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Indiana's certainly not a big brand. There's some storylines, with Indiana and all the things, but I think you start losing interest when you put so much time in between all these games. But we shall see, man. It's gonna be interesting for sure.
Yeah. Well, something else happened yesterday, Sprouse, down in this great state of
Down in
Florida.
Duval. Look, dude. Yeah, I'm sure everybody's seen it now because it's went viral. But Jaguars lose their playoff game, and a reporter from down there, is it Lynn Jones? Is that her name?
I think so.
Lynn, I know, is the first name, but she's I think Jacksonville Free Press, been down there 20-something years reporting. She gets her chance to ask a question, and she pretty much says, "Hey, coach, keep your head up. Great season. This city's behind you. We'll be back next year. Awesome job. Don't be down on yourself." He says, "Thank you, ma'am." 19 seconds total. Okay. And what got it was Schefter, who is arguably the best sports journalist of all time. I mean, at least in his prime. Before the Woj and the Shams and all those guys came about. I mean, Schefter's been the guy for breaking news and journalism. And he shares it and just puts like, awesome exchange here. And every ESPN employee, every journalist, every beat writer, every AP writer, I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it. like to me, I wouldn't have even batted an eye at this.
No.
There was nothing. This was a nothing. And these guys got on their high horse, and we're talking about there's a time and place for this. This is so roasting this woman. This is unprofessional. Imagine how did this woman even get credentials? This is ridiculous. She's not a real reporter. She's a fake reporter. She's a fan. She's not not knowing who she is, by the way.
Yeah.
Not doing any research to know what they're talking about before they put out a tweet. Shocking news from journalists and media, right? And they're getting crushed by fans. And then what's the worst part about it is many of them are then coming back at fans. This is why we don't talk about what it takes to be a journalist with people that aren't journalists. They just don't get it. Nobody understands. They don't get it. Fine. But sports journalists make a living off of telling athletes and coaches how terrible they are at their job and how to do their job better. And then I'm old enough to remember Ryan Clark, who I don't particularly enjoy, getting crushed for telling a guy that didn't play on the air, "Hey, you don't understand this because you didn't play the game. This is you saying that is just the side of you that didn't play the game that you don't understand." And he got crushed by everybody, rightfully so. I think a media person that didn't play the game has every right to have an opinion about the game. But then you can't get all upset when people are telling you that you're overreacting about a 19-second thing. And then, the other part of it, dude, and I don't want to pick on anybody here, but this is like, this is why they get a bad rap.
Yeah.
Because not everybody, okay, but you see these journalists and reporters reporting these things, especially in this college football world. That's like real clickbaity, no substance to an article. And then you're going to get mad about this. And then when here, Jeff, when's the last time you've been to or watched like a full presser? Like the questions, 9 times out of 10, you can't even, a coach isn't even going to answer your question. Like, what are you going to ask him there? You know what I'm saying? And what's he going to say? Like, nobody's going to ask him, a real deep, like hard-hitting question, whatever. And he's not going to give you and if you do, the answer you get is not going to be of anything. And so why are we so upset about this? It's just baffling to me. And then you had Pat McAfee, who, that guy, I mean,
I love Pat McAfee.
He has them by the nuts, dude, because he does say whatever he wants and do whatever he wants
100%.
and blasts like everybody that he works with and his own bosses sometimes, and they don't touch him.
They can't. I mean, this is just perfect example of when you get views and you drive revenue. What did we talk about it when it was like Cam Newton for years ago? It was like your distractions, it's not worth what your like your value. McAfee has all the value in the world because so many people watch his show, not only on ESPN, but on YouTube. He's on game days, on WWE. He's literally in front of like more different audiences than I could even think of. So they can't tell him nothing because he's probably saved ESPN, if you want to be just quite frank about it.
Yeah.
But it shows the media, legacy media, or whatever you want to call it, old school media, they're so out of touch because you're talking about ethics. Like there's a code of ethics.
Unbelievable, man.
Like don't take yourself too serious. Like I appreciate every journalist, reporter, that I ever came across, even the ones that I didn't really like. I appreciate what they do. But the moment you start taking yourself too seriously, I lose respect for you. I just do. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. And like you said, what is this guy going to give you? Like, that is such an emotional moment right there. As a coach, as a player, like you want to know what just happened on that third down or that fourth down. The guy's got to go back and watch the film. He's got to analyze. Like he's got so many things going on in his mind.
Jeff? He's going to say, yeah, we just didn't execute.
Yeah.
That's going to be his answer.
Yeah. So,
or you're going to say, hey, coach, how would you evaluate the season? Yeah, I mean, we'll look into that after today.
Yeah.
Coach, what are you going to do going into free agency? Where do you think you need? I don't know. We'll evaluate the tape and see what we need to do. That's what you're going to get. That's why you get quote unquote coach speak. That's what they do. You ask them the same couple of questions and they give you the same couple of answers and they hate it for them. But then you wonder why a lot of coaches and a lot of athletes don't like certain media, because then this happens. And it's, look at me. I went to Syracuse School of Sports Journalism. I know everything there is to know about how to behave in journalists. And it's one of the things McAfee said. Sorry, I totally interrupted you, Jeff. I apologize. But you got me fired up. It's what do I always say, Jeff? How I live my life. When everybody in the media all at the same time says the same thing, 10 out of 10 times, they're wrong. And this was immediately, they all went on the attack about this woman. All of them. People that you've never seen. Like, you've never seen these people on Twitter roasting this woman. And then they are accusing her of engagement farming and making it about herself. Buddy, that's what you're doing by taking her viral clip and making it about you and your profession. It's 19 seconds. Nobody thought anything of it until these people got on their high horse about it.
Honestly, I thought it came across as really genuine by her. And to me, this was a great moment. This was a great moment where you could see Liam Cohen was hurting.
He wanted to cry.
Wanted to cry.
Yep.
And I think she just felt something and just wanted to let him know that she appreciated him. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I'm sure there was questions before that. I'm sure there's questions after that. For her to just take a second to be a human being and not, just look at him like a piece of meat or something that most athletes get trash talked. And I get they make millions of dollars. The coaches make millions of dollars, and that is part of the job, the scrutiny part of it. I get that. But at the end of the day, they're human beings. And I thought this was just a great moment. And for all the media to just jump on her like that just shows how out of touch they are. And Sprouse, we've seen it firsthand. And when we travel, when we go places, we ask for field passes. We want to be on the field. Occasionally, we might go up to the press box, and we've met some really awesome people in those press boxes. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that it is very, very stuffy in those press boxes. And it's not because the heat is on full blast. There is a lot of journalists, not all of them, but a lot of them have an air about them. And I just can't understand why. Like, man, I want to talk to everybody. I like to get people's story. How did you get into this position? Where'd you go to school? All the things. And I know there's a time and place for everything. But man, it was just, to me, this was just out of touch. It was uncalled for the entire media to just jump on her like that. So I don't know. I appreciated the moment. It was just my take on it.
I have a couple more things on this. The first thing, and this is going to be my last trashing of quote unquote legacy media. It was the guy that made the biggest stink. I can't remember his name, Mark something, and he's an AP writer. The AP, okay, the AP. All these writers and journalists need to be taken so seriously, according to yesterday and today. But when they get called out on their vote for the AP poll and why they have certain teams in a certain place, it's just no big deal. This doesn't matter. This vote doesn't matter. Nobody cares. So now what you do, it's not that important. Doesn't really matter. Oh, now you're getting called out on your decision. It's like, you want to call out a coach for going for it on fourth down or whatever you want to do, and you expect a certain kind of answer, and you expect everybody to ask those questions. But then when a fan asks the media, hey, why do you have Notre Dame here? They're 0-2. Or, hey, why do you have Alabama ahead of Florida State? They just lost to them. This doesn't even matter anyway. This is silly. We all remember that happening this season.
Yeah.
We remember that happening on multiple AP voters. My second thing is the thing you brought about, why I think a big reason why, and I can relate to this. So I understand a little bit. Most of them hate, I don't want to say they hate sports, kind of like what McAfee said. I don't necessarily think that's true. But I do think they hate that guys like McAfee just sort of show up on the scene and get the big payday and get the ratings. And they didn't go to school for it. And they didn't work the beat at the local high school. And so it can be frustrating to say, man, I put in all this work for this profession, but this guy, just because he has a good social following, is going to get to be on here. Portnoy is going to get to be on the Fox's pregame show because what education does he have in journalism or in sports or any of it? And they don't like it. And it's unfortunate because that's the consumer, what they're wanting. And it can be frustrating. I can relate to that as a player, as a guy that, you go through off-season workouts, you go through spring ball, you go through camp. And then here comes a guy that's been injured through all of it that jumps you in the depth chart. But you have to swallow your pride a little bit and say, hey, he's better. Sucks. I've been working all off season for this, or, I've been here for 2 years. Here comes this, hot shit freshman or whatever you're going to have. And they're going to get every chance that you don't get. And it sucks. But at some point you got to realize, ESPN's going to give McAfee this because they're about their business and he's bringing in the ratings and he's bringing in the advertisement dollars. And I'm got to sit there and be like, I don't think that a coach is going to play a guy that's going to make us lose. He's going to play the guy that he thinks, heart of hearts, going to help us win. So I think there's a lot of that. And I think that's where there's this right now, especially because it's new. You have this new media. You have Instagram. Back in the day, journalists and reporters were the only ones that could get a blue check mark on Twitter.
That's it.
Now we got one. You got one. I got one. You know what I'm saying? And so I think there is that. And I think, like you said, man, we've seen, with the different schools support one or the other typically, and you kind of run into that. You run into this divide, and it's you need both.
Yeah,
but
and I think I think it's why more and more people distrust what the mainstream media is saying, and independent outlets, like Pat McAfee, like us, for example, like all the other podcasts and shows that have popped up over the last several years. It's why there's an audience for it, because people, they want the truth, they want opinions, and they just are kind of sick and tired of the same old groupthink song and dance that, quite frankly, it's out of touch from everyday human beings, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I've been screaming it for years that the sports media is worse than political media ever thought about being. And it's interesting too, because when you get a coach or a player that goes on McAfee's show, you get a different side of the coach. Like they loosen up. I mean, we talk to coaches off air, and they're totally different from the sort of. There's a reason you have to be media trained, because you literally have to be trained to say the right things, because I don't want to say these people, but because these people will take your quote and they'll put it out of context. They'll put a headline that's for clicks, and then they'll sneak a little thing of what really happened in the article, or they'll put a headline out that makes you look terrible, and then you got to pay for a subscription to read the actual article. And so, you're right, man. That's why people mistrust the media in general. And, it's it was wild. I cannot believe how polarizing this has become.
I know.
I mean, it's just, and I don't know why. And because there's no couple people have tried to bring race into it, but there's none of that, because you're seeing all the sides. You're seeing like the conservative right wing say it's unprofessional. You're seeing Jamel Hill say it was unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like,
by the way, you talk about somebody I can't stand.
Yeah, she's bad. but and then we can go off the wall here. And then she, of course, tried to do the old switch up when she found out that this woman has 25 years of experience, and she writes for, I think it's like a black newspaper.
Yeah.
Then Jamel Hill was like, "Oh, we should subscribe." It's like, no. You said she was unprofessional, pal.
That's right.
Don't come back on this.
That's right.
That's what you said. But, and then, dude, then there's been countless times of quote unquote professional media asking silly questions or just saying silly stuff. They do that all the time, dude.
So frustrating.
Otherwise, how would you know Aaron Rodgers goes to wherever he goes and smokes ayahuasca and does all that weird stuff he does? I mean, that's silly stuff. You actually, you know what? You probably found that out on Pat McAfee, because he probably was comfortable enough saying it on there.
Speaking of Rodgers, we got a game going on right now. Steelers Texans.
See, that's the other thing.
Kenneth Gainwell having a pretty nice performance so far.
Group of 5 product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Green Bay lost the other night, but at least in the first half, Romeo Doubs, Jordan Love had themselves a day. Quinyon Mitchell, I think, didn't he have an interception the other night?
He did.
It's just wild how they're able to do that. Playing at such a low level. You know what I mean?
It's nuts, man. I'm looking through the portal, the latest portal. I mean, Sprouse, college football's a mess. College athletics in general is a mess.
Do you see I think it was the Montana coach, what he said?
No, I didn't.
He said, let me tell you, talk about a shot. Stray walk-ons were catching, but he said, we got walk-ons that I can't even remember their name, and they have agents. trying to talk to me. She said,
Jeez.
yeah,
Sprouse, you'd have had an agent back in the day, wouldn't you?
I would have had an agent, dude. I'd have had all the NIL deals with my flip phone and my non-social media that I had. Nobody knows that. I don't think. I mean, I know everybody knows I'm bad at technology, dude. I had a blue flip phone throughout college that texted uncalled only. No, so I had Facebook, but if you if you wanted, I didn't ever have Snapchat. I had it for like a little bit, but I got rid of that real quick. But if I wanted to get on the socials, you would see me. I'd be on my lazy boy recliner at the Bay, our old apartment, and I'd pull out my laptop to get on Facebook. Those were good times. I have made a huge mistake going away from that lifestyle, trying to keep up with this stuff. And I mean, just
Well, you have to nowadays. I mean, just this day and age of social media and all the other things. I will say this. It's funny you mentioned the Bay. This is completely irrelevant. King Cobras came up today at work, and I was like,
are they back?
King Cobra? I don't know. I don't know if they're back. But somebody was talking about it. I was like, I could tell you a time when King Cobras were being put down.
Let me tell you, dude, the Thanksgiving tradition, you get a little insight on us here in our college days. The Thanksgiving tradition. See, Thanksgiving, hopefully Coach Stock and none of our coaches are listening to this, but we would have practice, always that Thursday practice. So it was a helmets only, special teams, script type practice. And then we'd have our team meal, like a Thanksgiving meal up in the, press box or wherever we would have it. Well, then we were free until the next morning when we would have to, get on the bus or whatever we were doing. We would immediately after that, we would go to the little liquor store. See, and then back in the day in Tennessee, I don't know what it is now, Jeff, but you couldn't buy liquor and beer in the same store. Wasn't that what it was?
Uh-huh.
So they'd just be right next to each other. But we'd go to the local gas station that was open on Thanksgiving Day, and that guy would give us a case of King Cobra's 40-ounce malt liquor, in case you're unaware. And let me tell you, dude, one of those in college now one of them I think would put me down bad. In college, one of them was like perfect. Just like feeling real social, you know what I mean? Ready to roll. But you never did just one. And you do two. And keep in mind, they're like, what were they? $2.50 a piece.
They're not much.
I mean, the cheapest
the case is
grocer's
probably
thing.
10.
Oh, dude. And you'd Edward 40 hands that thing. And you'd drink two, and it would give you the worst hangover you've ever had in your life. And sometimes you'd feel like doing more. And then you'd go out on the Thanksgiving Day. You'd try to go out. You'd try to find something going on, but the only people on campus were your football friends. So, oh, man.
Good times, dude. Good times.
There's a restaurant down on 30A called The Bay.
Really?
It's world class. It's right there on the Bay. As you come over the bridge, it's right there. They got a little live music all the time.
Nice.
Good seafood. Yeah. What else? So what was going on? Are you looking at the portal there?
Yeah, I'm just glancing through. Iverson Hooks, UAB receivers going to Oregon. There's so many names.
Too many, man. Byron Brown, you see, is officially going to Auburn, which it's the funny thing is, get ready for it. Come fall. I mean, this is the most closest we've had to Cam Newton since 2011 or whatever they're going to say. And it's going to be Byron Brown, a guy who, just chastised for playing in the group of five.
Chaz Preston's off to Indiana.
I saw that. Indiana. So how old is he? He's been playing a long time.
He's been playing a while. He was at Alabama before.
Mm-hmm. You said it on the phone the other day, Jeff, and we're all forgetting about these COVID super seniors. Yeah. This is the last of them.
It's got to be.
I think.
Carson
Beck and them, right?
Yeah. But we've talked about this before. Why would you go to the NFL? If you're not a top 15 draft pick, honestly, top 10, really, why would you go? You could stay in college and make so much more money and be the guy on campus for another year. Like you're making probably $1-2 million. Why would you go to the NFL?
Well, that's why Pavia and these guys are trying to sue for another year. And you got all these accident chasers or ambulance chasers, these lawyers that are coming to try to defend them. Well, you see that. I know you saw that with the Washington quarterback. That guy's trying to transfer and puts out a big statement, and then he gets this legal representation, and then like 5 hours later, he decides after many thoughts and prayers and talking to his family that he's going to return to Washington. It's like, sounds like you hired a lawyer and the lawyer read your contract that you signed.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like happened. But anyway,
Yeah.
I got to tell you before we sign off this thing, I got to tell you what happened to me the other day, Jeff.
My God.
So I got one of those steam saunas for Christmas.
Nice.
Just a little tent from Academy. They're like $200. And it comes with like a little fold out chair, a little stool that you sit in.
Yeah.
It's tight. It's tight now. I don't know if you've seen these things, but when I'm in there, I'm like sitting on the stool, and if I move any direction, some part of me is touching the sidewalls. Well, and the way it heats up is it's got a hose connected, and then it's shooting the hot. You got a heating element on the outside. It boils the water, and then the steam comes in through the hose. Well, if you get too close to that hose part, I mean, it's hot. I mean, it's boiling water coming in.
It's gonna burn you.
So I'm sitting there, and the side of my leg is like just taking all the heat, and I'm like trying to adjust, but I can't move. I don't want to topple the thing over. Jeff, at 5:30 in the morning, this is when we first got it, so it was in my living room still. I collapsed that damn chair, Jeff, and it went down, and I let out one of those old man, fat guy, like just like. Ah! And then I'm laying there. And now I'm laying down with my feet in the air, and all the heat is just crushing me. And then and it's steamy. So then I'm trying to find the zipper to get out of the thing, dude. And I'm getting claustrophobic. I mean, you want to talk about panic. I am panicking. Finally get out of the thing. And then went over to Academy and bought like a little hunting stool, a little tripod hunting stool.
So far, that weight rated.
Well,
a little higher weight ratio.
Yeah,
rated.
that thing. Well, your typical, southern, duck hunter, the state of Georgia is probably good. 300 plus. So I think it says 350 on there. I'm not there. So far it's been holding up pretty good. But anyway,
Joe did have a question. Not anything related to your sauna saga.
From Tarleton. Hey.
42 points a game, top offense in the FCS last year.
Yeah, Tarleton. First of all, we got to get Tarleton in the group of 5, I think. And who they beat Army, right, in a shootout. They beat West Point. I didn't watch them enough to know what kind of, what style of play they're going to have or anything like that. But
I mean, they spread them out up tempo. I mean, it's your typical, spread. I mean, I don't know specifically what they do, but I remember watching them against Army. So if Troy can get a high-powered offense, I feel like they're always going to have a very solid defense. Just with the guys they get out of Alabama, they always got edge rushers. They always got a solid defense. At least since we were playing them, they've had a good defense.
Always, man. Yeah, a couple. I saw where Coastal, I think, got a JUCO number 1 JUCO QB in the country. Right? Was that Coastal he went to?
I don't know.
I might have totally made that up. But you can't keep up. There's 10,000 kids in the damn thing.
Well, that's the thing is I check it, every couple of days. But there's just so much movement. And you're going to get more movement, every single day. So, let me see. Let's see what Coastal's got going. Since I am wearing their hat.
Yeah. It's going to come quick, Jeff. We do this every year. You're going to get the national championship on Monday, and then you're going to get the Senior Bowl a couple weeks after that, and then you're going to be in spring ball. Now that you just have this one portal window, it's going to come quicker, I feel like.
It doesn't say that anybody's coming in. It has every one of their quarterbacks in the portal.
Oh.
Collier, Emmett Brown, MJ Morris, Tad Hudson. They're all in it. Maybe they haven't updated it. I don't know.
I might have totally made that up, where I saw where he was going, but
they all got it. Basically, they all got in. Last week, basically. So maybe they signed somebody, and they're all like, "All right." But it's surprising. I thought Collier might hang around. Collier's a good player.
Yeah, man. It's the portal's interesting. I'd love to know, how many are being told to get in.
Yeah.
And how many are making, I think there's we talked about it last week. There's a portion that they already know where they're going, right? They've already had the conversations. They've already gotten offered NIL deals. They got their agents. There's a portion of those guys they're getting in the portal, chasing money. There's another portion that are being told they're not going to have a spot to get in the portal, find somewhere else. And they'll probably end up okay. But then you got this portion of people that are just getting in, thinking, blindly getting in the portal, and they're the ones that are never going to play football again.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunate.
Yes, it is. We don't have any voicemails this week, but shout out the hotline in case people want to.
615-900-4286 is the hotline. Give us your hot takes. Relate to the group of five. Talk about a coordinator or a position coach that your team hired that maybe you want us to get them on the show. Start tagging people too. If you're on Twitter or X, I'm sorry, tag coaches who we should get on in this offseason. We want to, of course, try to get all the new ones, but we won't do a show, at least not on Monday next week. Not going to do a show in the middle of the national championship game. So we'll figure out where we might take a week off, and then we'll get back to it. I'm telling you,
trying to get some coaches on.
We're gonna be in the full swing here in no time. But as always, we thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your family and friends all about the Group of Five Guys podcast presented by FanDuel. Have a great rest of your Monday night. Have a great week. We're out of here.